ladies and gentlemen. Now today, from the Japanese developers, we've got an update on some of the stuff that's hopefully going to be coming before the end of 2020, and this is on the Japanese version, so some of these changes we actually might see much earlier on the global version, and in all honesty, it's a fair few things that I didn't really expect to see from the Japanese developers, and also, like, not too much on, like, Season 3 content, but a lot on, like, quality of life improvements. So the first thing that they're looking at is kind of making, like, acquiring equipment and upgrading equipment for players just much easier and a little bit less stressful as well. So they kind of, like, vaguely talk about kind of this is their goal moving forward. They want to give out more equipment, but it looks like one of the changes that's going to be coming to equipment is that I believe you can use anvils, it says Iron Shiki here in the translation, to re-roll the basic stats of equipment. So I think that means moving forward that even the base stats you can re-roll with anvils, which, you know, is going to be a very, very nice improvement, because if you upgrade something, you know, like as a new player that's a little bit rubbish, and you want that absolute perfect roll on it, then you have the option to, you know, spend a few anvils to re-roll there, which is going to be very nice. However, I think with the limited availability of anvils, unless they do something to increase the availability of them a lot more, then it's still going to be better for most players just to keep on farming gear until you get a really, really good roll. However, they do mention that they're looking to make equipment a lot more available across the board and add it to various additional modes of gameplay like Fort Solgres and also battle events as well. So yeah, they're looking to make a fair few improvements there. Again, this one overall is a little bit vague apart from you can re-roll basic stats of equipment using anvils. They're also looking at completely overhauling Fort Solgres. So they plan to unify each dungeon, which is dividing according to rewards such as training materials, gold, into a dungeon where you can earn rewards all at once. I think this line states here as well that they're basically trying to make it like more stamina efficient as well, and they also plan to add rewards so that you can also acquire equipment enhancement materials by playing Fort Solgres. So hopefully that's going to be more anvils, more hammers as well, and maybe some more awakening stones as well. So yeah, that kind of seems like it's the big overhaul of Fort Solgres that they're looking to do, to kind of unify the dungeon and add lots more rewards to it. So yeah, I'm all for this, man. This seems like a really, really good change there. And they're also planning to change the functional part of Training Cave, which has received many opinions about inconvenience and convenience, and improve it to content that allows you to enjoy training and fighting at the same time, rather than essential content that forces you to play. And I think this is a really, really good line here, because Training Cave, I think, is like quite exciting, quite fun for the first like month or two of playing it, but then it turns into a massive chore that you need to do every 5 days, and that's like quite an intense grind. It gets very repetitive, so if they can make it a bit more dynamic while also improving the rewards as well, I think that's going to be a really, really good time. But these two core changes, man, very unexpected, but I think they're going to be really, really good for the health and future of the game, especially if they can make both modes of gameplay kind of interesting and have some really, really good potential rewards as well. So I'm very curious to see what they do with the overhaul to Fort Solgres and also Training Cave there as well. They're also looking at moving the knighthood boss outside of knighthoods and have like a solo score for it, and also adding in additional bosses as well. So I'm not too sure exactly how they plan to do this, but yeah, this one's a little bit of an interesting one. I'm not too sure, like, I fully understand the point they're trying to make, but they're saying the rules and rewards for each season will also remain the same as well, and non-season bosses will be able to select and play. So I don't know if that means you can fight the bosses outside of the seasons and get like additional rewards as well, but this one seems pretty damn interesting. Also, the expanded knighthood boss subjugation battle also has a function as a place where you can acquire the desired set equipment, and also new bosses will be added in the future, so please look forward to it. And they're currently also expanding basically what is Alliance Wars, also known as Knights Battle, which has received many opinions from players. I think they're taking a little bit of time on the Japanese version to you know, finesse Guild Wars and kind of get it right before kind of rolling it out to the masses, because currently it does require like a lot of gear, a lot of characters, a lot of investment, a fair amount of coordination as well, which I know will be very hectic for kind of lesser organized alliances to tackle. So yeah, I'm interested to see how kind of they roll that out to the general player base as well. But Alliance Wars is very fun, man. I really do enjoy it in 7 Deadly Sins. And then they're also looking at supporting for leveling up new and returning players. So as the content increases, new players who have started or returned cannot keep up with the character development and equipment enhancement, and the fun and satisfaction level continues to decline because only limited content can be played. In addition to supporting level up through events, we plan to provide opportunities to acquire trained characters that will be ready for action in gacha and help reduce the burden of training. So is this like pre-leveled, pre-equipped characters there? Like that seems you know, like a very interesting point, because it depends what they mean by like trained characters, because if it's just like characters that are like level 60, you know, XP potions aren't really like much of a big burden. It's all of the gear and everything that comes around characters that makes them like such a big investment for new players. So yeah, that one's a little bit interesting as well. In addition to this, the difficulty level of the entire main chapter, which has become more difficult due to regular updates, has completely been readjusted, and the main story of the 7 Deadly Sins can be enjoyed easily. We plan to improve it so that it can be played. I don't really understand this one. Are they saying that the main storyline has become more difficult? Because I think on JP it's become a lot more easier with Super Awakening, so I'm a little bit confused what they mean by this one. In addition, as a reward for clearing the main chapter, we will add characters necessary for content, play and support in various ways so that new and returning players can enjoy the game. In addition, we are planning additional rewards for players who have already cleared the chapters. So yeah, maybe we're going to get a load of free stuff if we've already got so far in the story, so that seems pretty damn interesting there as well. And additionally, on top of that, they talk about improvements to the Great Brawl, which is essentially the auto fight PvP, and this content is absolutely horrible. It is painstakingly boring. It's one of the worst things that they've ever added to the game, and I think it would be much better off if they just removed it. The reward system is also terrible for it, man. It's just really bad. So they're looking at basically adjusting the attacker list, so it's updated automatically, because it's a little bit bugged and it kind of slingshots you around in terms of the rankings at the moment a little bit. And they're also adding in tickets so you can purchase additional participation there, and also they're developing a function that allows players to directly customize the AI of the battle of Super Smash Bros. I don't know why it's translated that, man. That's really weird. So you get to like pick like an aggressive AI or passive AI, or maybe a strategy that your AI wants to go for. But yeah, I don't know, man. This is like Great Brawl is just so boring just because it's auto PvP. You've got zero control over it, and I don't know anybody that's played this mode of gameplay for more than a couple of days and genuinely enjoyed coming back to it, because it just is like a glorified version of patrol missions, really. So yeah, I think they should just stop focusing on auto fight PvP and start focusing on actual PvP and looking at overhauling the reward structure. You know, as we talked about a few days ago on the channel as well, they haven't changed anything about PvP, even on the Japanese version, the reward structure, since the launch of the game. And that stuff is so outdated now for the people that are actively participating and trying to grow in PvP. So to see this as their only like acknowledgement of PvP is just you know, very disappointing. Like, I want to see actual adjustments and improvements to the actual PvP in this game, and not improvements to the glorified patrol missions, because those are, you know, tediously boring and require no real strategy involved, man. It's just you know, I just don't dig them, man. They're just really not fun at all. You've got no control over the outcome for the most part. So yeah, I was a little bit disappointed to see that they didn't address anything in regards to actual PvP. They also didn't address anything in regards to like new characters, the future of like Season 3, 7 Deadly Sins content moving forward. But yeah, there's some good stuff. Like, I'm happy about the support for leveling up and returning players. I'm happy about the improvements to the knighthood boss, like the training cave stuff, the Fort Solgres revamp as well seems very, very nice, and also the overall improvement and acknowledgement that gear in this game and upgrading it is a little bit of a chore, and they need to work on significantly improving that as well, is very, very nice. But I still think they really need to address like PvP head on. It seems like the more this game goes on, the more they just ignore PvP and don't really do anything significant to improve the reward structure or how players progress through stuff like elite PvP as well. So yeah, hopefully, you know, some feedback gets back to them somehow and they start making some really good changes toward the start of maybe next year for PvP. But I'm very curious to see what they're going to do in terms of the overhaul to Fort Solgres and also Training Cave. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think of the development notes for 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross from the Japanese developers in the comments section below. And if you did enjoy today's video, please do smash that like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. Aside from that, thank you very much for watching, take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.